Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the agenda or the platform of Mrs. Betty Nixon, who is running for the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, Davidson County. And let me welcome you to the show this morning, Mrs. Nixon, and to talk about some of the things that you believe to be important in terms of the development of Nashville over the next several years. Why don't you start us off this morning by giving us some information relative to how you became involved in politics and perhaps some information in reference to the service that you have rendered to this community up to this point.
Well, thank you, Dr. Haney. I'm delighted to be here. And I'm delighted to be here with you. You were in my district when I was on the Metropolitan Council, and a good and responsible constituent, and I appreciate that. I would like to maybe talk about why I got involved in politics. In the first place, it truly isn't what I expected when I was growing up in Nashville. But I got mad at the government. And that was my primary motivation for running for the council. The area that we live in, over around Music Row and Vanderbilt University, was sort of scheduled to go out of existence, if you will, or there was real doubts about whether or not we could have a residential community inside of I-440. And I lived there with my family and decided that, in fact, we could do that. And so I ran for the Metropolitan Council. All the money was on the other side. I'm used to those kind of odds. And I won by 10 votes in a runoff. The election before had been won by 12 votes in a runoff, and the legislative race by 7 votes. So I think it's fair to say that our community was split down the middle about our future. But what I did was to ask the citizens of that community to come together, to organize, to set some goals for themselves. We did that. We brought our community back. We worked on our school and made it one of the best in the city. We worked on the neighborhood, and we chased out the people who had illegal uses for houses, and so pretty soon, you know, we really had a community blossoming and full of life. And I believe that one of the things that Nashville needs at this time is a commitment to work together to achieve a common agenda for this city. And so I feel prepared. I spent 12 years in the Metropolitan Council, as you know. After that first win by 10 votes, nobody ever ran against me again, in spite of the fact that that's a district that's characterized by close races. And so I feel that that demonstrates my ability to represent fairly people of differing views. I also was able to then address some citywide issues during my council service, and I think that those may give the viewers some insight into how Betty Nixon's mind works. And so let me mention a couple of examples. At one point, we were looking around for a way to help communities improve the quality of life, you know, really looking at neighborhoods and trying to do that in a cost-effective manner, which is one of the things, you know, there's never enough money for all the things we want to do. So we were trying to look for something that would really work and wouldn't be too expensive. So we looked at our schools and saw that we had a $100 million investment in school facilities, but that they were only used 20% of the time because they were locked in the morning until the children got there, and then locked in the afternoon, and locked on the weekends, and locked in the summertime. So I served as chairman of a task force and then sponsored legislation which unlocked the doors to those schools. In the morning for child care before the school day started, in the afternoon for after-school care until the parents got off for work, in the afternoons for recreational time, for Girl Scout meetings, for community activities, in the evenings for tutoring programs, for literacy, for people learning how to read, for people getting their GED, for classes and everything you can think of, for Tennessee State to come and give classes at McGavock and other comprehensive high schools. And the other night, as a matter of fact, I was over at McGavock, and the parking lot was filled up with cars. And they were planning for their GED graduation.